Well, good morning, and I'm Frances Heinemann, your host on July 14, and I'm so happy to welcome Dr. Bethel with her monthly update, as well as her one of her specialists who comes in, and we'll be learning about audiology as well. So, Dr. Bethel, I know you have things you want to, and we need to hear to have you tell us. So, go ahead.
Okay, well, as usual, it's a pleasure to be here and to provide an update for the medical center. So I just wanted to have a little focus on the subspecialists who visit Green Spring. I do have with me Dr. Gina Cravato, who is the audiologist who visits us, but just also wanted to mention the other specialties and persons who come to fill those roles. So in cardiology, we have Dr. Azita Moalemi. Our dentist that visits is Dr. Everett Howell. We have a dermatologist who's Dr. Inia Yevitz-Tunstall. We have a neurologist who's Dr. James Bixel. We have ophthalmology. In fact, we have two doctors from the same practice, Dr. Judith Gadol and Dr. Haresh Ailani, and they are both ophthalmologists. Okay. Then we have a urologist, which is Dr. Lloyd Glover, and we have orthopedics, which is Dr. Thomas Martinelli, and I think that's it. Oh, one more. I'm sorry. Kidney specialist, nephrologist. It's Dr. Padmaja Kolachana. So those are the specialists who visit, and when you're in the medical center, if you get, there is a printed sheet that has the names, pictures, and the times when each of the specialists are visiting Green Spring. So we just encourage anyone who has a need for any of those specialists to discuss it when you're there for your regular visits. And now Dr. Cravato is going to talk to us a little bit about hearing and how it affects seniors and some techniques that might be helpful for all of you.
Well, welcome, Dr. Cravato. I had not met you before, but you said you've been here, or the practice you work with has been here as long as Green Spring has been here. So that's very good to know, and we're happy to have you with us this morning. So I'm not going to say, what did you say? But go ahead and tell us about whatever you want to tell us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's really a pleasure to be here today to share a little bit of information. You're correct. Our practice has been coming here to Green Spring since Green Spring opened originally. So we've been coming here for many years, and we originally had space up in the main medical center, and then when they did the renovation, we moved downstairs into the specialty suite in Parkview where the other specialists are. We are down there every Friday. So we do our scheduling privately, so our phone number can be found either on the sheet that Dr. Bethel mentioned in the medical center, or I'm happy to provide it too near the end of the program if people would like. But we're down there every Friday by appointment. We have full diagnostic capabilities with our sound room and our equipment, and we can provide hearing devices when appropriate, as well as repairing devices that perhaps were purchased other places if people need, if they've moved here with other devices already. Hearing loss affects a lot of us, and I'm sure if someone out there has hearing loss themselves, even if they don't have hearing loss themselves, I'm sure they know somebody who might have a hearing problem. It's not uncommon to see people say, "What did you say?" around the dinner table, or maybe you might turn your TV up a little bit louder than you used to, or maybe you've got a friend or a family member or a spouse that is encouraging you not so gently to get your hearing checked. That happens quite frequently. You know, a hearing test is something that's a fairly painless experience. So if you're concerned about that at all, if someone's been encouraging you, we encourage you to come in and have an evaluation just so you can see where you stand, and then we can go from there too.
Regarding that, I have had hearing tests,
yes,
a number of them. Do you have the soundproof booth that's not available here, is it?
Oh, it is.
Oh, you bring your own?
Well, we don't bring, it's here.
Oh.
It's very large, as I'm sure you know. So it's in place and not moving. When we had to move down from the main medical center downstairs, that was the biggest ordeal, is we had to have folks come in and disassemble our sound booth and then take it downstairs in pieces and
Oh, I guess
and
I've
put it
never
back
seen
together
it
again.
down there. That's why. I mean, I actually have not used your services.
Well, I will be happy to pencil you in a time if you would be interested, yes. We provide all kinds of those services, but apart from hearing technology, which is smaller and smarter and faster than it ever has been before, there are also a lot of other devices that can help people, because hearing aids are really just one part of the puzzle. There are a lot of different pieces of equipment and things that people can do to improve their listening situation. Certainly, hearing aids are something that you can put on your ears that can help you if you have a hearing loss through most of your situations. But there are some times that hearing aids aren't going to be the best solution for particular situations. So there are some other things that people can do. For example, I was telling Dr. Bethel before we came in today, because I passed a resident in the hall who mentioned her captioned telephone. I think a lot of people don't know that there are telephones that are available to people who are hard of hearing for free through the FCC that have captions on them, so that when someone makes a phone call or receives a phone call, a lot of people say, I have a hard time hearing my daughter in California. We get to communicate just on the telephone and I have a hard time hearing her. But there are these captioned telephones that are available free of charge, where all we have to do is certify by an audiologist or a physician that there's a hearing loss that exists there, and then the application gets sent off. And then in 1 to 3 weeks, they'll send you this telephone. If you have a high-speed internet connection, and most folks here are equipped for that at minimum, they can get that plugged in, and then the captions for whatever the person is saying on the other end of the line appear on a screen that has
terrific.
a font that can be adjustable, right? And the best part is free. It's free.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. So, and it, I mean, if you don't like it, just unplug it. But I mean, really, it's a free program that a lot of people don't know even exists.
Well, regarding hearing aids, there's so many people I know who constantly are fussing with their hearing aid and saying, oh, it doesn't work, or I'm turning it up, or I'm turning it down, or I'm not using it, or whatever. Why is it so difficult?
Well, that's a good question. Some people do have a lot of difficulty with their hearing aids. There are plenty of people who don't have any trouble with their hearing aids or have minimal trouble with them. But they are an electronic device that goes inside your ear. So they do require some cleaning and maintenance. And that can be difficult if you have a dexterity problem or a vision problem. Certainly that can be tough. The second thing is one thing that we encourage people to do, especially if they've purchased hearing aids from us. When that happens, they get free service for the life of the hearing aids. That means free adjustments and free counseling appointments, free cleanings. So if you're having trouble like that and you've purchased hearing aids from us, we're happy to do that for you free of charge. Even if you've purchased them elsewhere, most times I can take care of them. I can reprogram them if they're one of the manufacturers we deal with. The exceptions are if you've purchased your hearing aid from a Belltone or a Miracle Ear, I can't adjust those. And if you've purchased them from Costco. Another thing is if they've been purchased through the Erickson Advantage plan, they have to be adjusted by the Erickson Advantage folks.
I am one of those people who's under that plan, and I know that this year for the first time they're covering a good piece of the cost of hearing aids. I don't have a hearing aid, but I thought, whoa, that's great because they're so expensive.
They are very expensive. Now, with the Erickson Advantage program, as I understand it, you send away for them through the mail. They ask you to have an audiogram done, which you would see an audiologist for, and they ask for something to be signed off by the physician. So, and then you send away for those products, and then they send them back to you in the mail. I can't adjust those hearing aids, but I can teach you how to use them. I can teach you how to put in a battery, I can teach you how to put them on your ear, but I can't adjust them for you if you're not pleased with the sound quality.
Well, my understanding is that they have an arrangement with a company that manufactures hearing aids that made it possible for them to do that at the low price that they quote.
That's right. As I understand it, there's an office in Rockville that will adjust those for folks.
Rockville. Oh, where's Rockville?
Yes.
I never lived in Virginia until I moved here.
Yeah, and that's Maryland.
Maryland.
Oh,
It's actually
okay.
Rockville, Maryland.
Rockville, Maryland.
So it's a trek.
Or you can send them back, but it's nice to be able to,
Of course.
yeah,
you
be
need
able to
that
speak to somebody.
hands-on, Yeah.
yeah. So there's the plus in that it's a lot less expensive, but the downside is Rockville is not exactly around the corner.
No. I didn't mean to interrupt what you were telling us, but I had, the other question I have
Sure.
is you see ads for things, as you mentioned, Miracle Ear, that sort of thing. Oh, we're not a hearing aid, but you just put this in and it's like magic. What about those things?
It's a great question. A lot of times if you read those ads, they'll say things like, this is not a hearing aid in the text of the ad.
Yeah.
It's not a hearing aid, and they'll call themselves PSAPs, Personal Sound Amplification Products. And they're exactly that. They are amplifiers. They can be worn ear level, so it looks like a hearing aid, but it's basically an amplifier that takes the sound and makes it bigger and puts it into your ear. A hearing aid will shape the sound to your hearing loss, and it will assess the sounds in the environment to determine if they are noise or if they're speech, and do their best to try to enhance the speech according to your hearing loss, but and try to reduce the noise as much as possible.
Yeah, that's another thing, the background noise.
The background noise.
Or
The background noise
Yeah.
with an amplifier definitely gets bigger. There are also products that are smaller that look like a little Walkman, a little device that you can wear with headphones that could be an amplifier if you needed something in a pinch. You know, I always say, you know,
Oh, like in movie theaters and things like that?
Well,
People can get the
you can
voices?
definitely get them in movie theaters, but this pocket talker that I'm discussing is basically a small little device for use in small groups or for one-on-one. Very helpful if someone needs to know some certain information, if they have a hearing loss and need to visit the physician, or if they're in the hospital, or even in a small group. It's a device that you can put little headphones on and then set this thing up. And that's something you can get online for $100. You know, it's a really inexpensive product, but again,
It's practical and
it's-
simple.
it is. It's practical and simple and good for certain situations, but it does not really attenuate the background noise.
And it doesn't, it's not, well, it's simple, and that's pretty much a way to, like, you don't hear something, but it doesn't really solve the problem like hearing aids could for you.
You're right. It's a situational thing because the hearing aids are designed to help you meet at least 95% of your listening needs. But for example, I have somebody who recently went for a hospital visit in an ambulance, and by the time they were all settled after they'd been checked in, the hearing aids were lost.
Oh, wow.
And that's one thing where I'll tell people sometimes, if it's possible, leave your hearing aids behind if you have to go to the hospital, because their job is to get you well, and down on the list of things is safeguarding your personal property.
Right.
So a pocket talker would be great in that situation because you could hear clearly everything that the doctors and nurses would be trying to convey, but you wouldn't have to worry about maintaining control and possession of
batteries
tiny
and
hearing
all
aids.
that.
Exactly, exactly.
Well, that's all such good information, and you know what?
What's
Our
that?
time is just like that. But do you have any last words, either of you, that you want to share with us this morning?
Well, I think I would just want to encourage residents, you know, if they are personally aware or if via friends and relatives that they're aware that there are hearing issues, that they, number one, you know, discuss it when they're at their visits, and then hopefully we can, you know, direct them to audiology. Sometimes it is as simple as removing cerumen, which is wax.
Exactly.
So that's something that, you know, we certainly can do for them. And if you do end up with a hearing aid, just having the hearing aid, which is sort of a foreign object, sometimes that can even be more of a stimulus for wax production. So you should probably have your ears looked at periodically. Okay, and then just lastly, just reminding everyone that we are still offering the Prevnar pneumococcal injection, and to date we've given 937.
Oh, that's pretty good, isn't it?
Which is great,
Yeah,
yes.
that
But
is.
we would love to get that number up
Only
to
another 900 to go.
There we go, and we'll be there before you know it. Yes, and the only other thing is we are again offering annual wellness visits.
Yes, and I'm wondering when I did it last year to find out when I ought to do it again.
If you call us, we'll be happy to let you know that.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Bethel and Dr. Crovato, for coming this morning.